I'm putting this thing in here. I want to show you a little trick if you got one man. See, I've got this thing centered a little bit, but I need to move it over just a little. You can jerk around on these with a big weight and it'll flop all over the place. So here's a little trick. You just take your jack stand or your handle and you just put it under it and you just pry it over a little, and you see right there I've centered it up exactly. Now I'm gonna let it down a little bit, and when I want it to go forward, I just put my bar under it here and just roll it forward a little. And what I've done now is put it up against that firewall. But the trick is that you just go real slow and real careful with a pipe, something, and you can get quite a bit of force. See, I've got this here is not centered, so what I'm going to do is rock that over and just roll this one a little more to that side. Yeah, it's pretty centered right now with the car. I just put a little old piece of chain up here to hold it. So anyway, now I'm going to go ahead and pull around with a little more, lower it some and start moving it back. I lowered a little. Now at this point I'm still not into my transmission hump, and I'm just starting to touch stuff up here. There's no way that I'm going to be able to get that in, so what I'm going to have to do is put something up here on top and increase the angle of this motor. Yeah, I'll do a little time lapse for you here. Same deal, I just use my bar, and so I got like 1/4 of an inch there. I'm right on the frame here. Pretty good there in the back. There's my little bar, move it a bit. Valve cover here. Yep. Close. Just need to let her down a little now. With engines, you got to be no real speed necessary. Speed is not your friend. So, pretty good on this side. I've got my motor just in the middle. I'm messing up my plate right there. I don't want that to occur. I can always paint it later, but have to, I'd rather not. And now I'll let her down a little more. Yeah. More for Alright. Now it looks like I'm hitting my sway bar. Tie rod crossbar. Not that bad, it's just a hump of the bell housing. little, just to get it over that bar. Pretty close again. Right. So I'm right on my lifter here, a rocker. You see down there in the bottom, I'm sort of hung, so my next thing is to put a jack on it, jack up the back of that motor. At this point, I've got my bill housing is contacting the firewall. I'm pretty close to where this thing goes. Underneath it here, I've cleared the bill housing. I've put my little jack there on the pan to. Should always use a wood block on a pan, but just to hold it up a little. So what should happen here is I can probably just lower this. Have to be real gentle with it here. And as I lower it, see, you can see the motor rock there a little. It means I contacted some other piece of metal someplace. It's probably down there on the bottom again. No, bottom's still good. The way it, oh, it's right here in the front. The pan's hitting that front torsion bar, but I think I got enough to move it a little. So now I'll just take. I don't want to go back. Still hitting somewhere here. Valves are just set on here. Wiggling it around. Looks like I've cleared everything in the torsion bar now. Just move about a quarter inch. Try to let it down. Yep. Alright, that's a good inch. Come on forward, Dad. They're straight. And it's all sitting in here about where it's going to go. Clear my torsion bar here. Clear the firewall here. I should have pulled these plugs out so I don't take a chance of breaking them. So lots of room over here. So this is about where that motor is going to go anyway. Probably straight down another 3-4 inches. So now it's a good time to go down in here and put in my motor mounts. Now there's a left and a right motor mount on these things, so you got to be careful to get the right one. But my just guesswork there of where this motor was going, I'm probably within a half an inch vertical of where I should be, and almost exactly where I should be backwards and forwards. And this one, yeah, it's the same. It's I'm almost perfect, so I can't cry about that. I put it in directly the first time. Only got a couple little scratches here. The motor went right in. Now I'll put these motor mounts in loose, and then I can't really center anything up until I measure and get the center of the motor exact, and then whatever transmission cross member I put in there, I'll center the back of the motor. But for now, I'm just going to put the rest of these bolts in here fairly snug and kind of snug them up a little bit, and then I can put some weight on it and see what happens to my wheels. Well, I lowered it a bit. Now I can start a bolt here. That was about 3/4 of an inch off, which all things considered is not too bad. On this back one, looks like I got about 1/4 of an inch there, so I'm gonna use my jack in the back and lower this just a tad, and that should have brought it right to the angle that the motor mount goes in. Hopefully. I misplaced my other motor mount bolt. I do that constantly, had all 4 of them. Put one in and I don't have any. Find my bolt. Yeah, I found them. They're right where I left them. So now I put this back one in here. I just do a little wiggling to see if I can't get that started in the block. For some reason I don't want to start. Now I'm kind of doing this blind, so there it goes. Alright, got both of those in. It's up into the block. Now do the other side. Now these are going to be a little bit more of a problem, mostly because I can't get to it as well. I don't know why, but I'm not sure where I'm at here. I could be forward or black in the block. I don't know where I'm at. Just looking at it. Crawled under it. Yeah, motor's about 3/4 of an inch forward. There we go. I just broke my mount some. And it looks like that hole's lining up pretty good. Well, almost had it. Come on, baby. Yep, there's that one. It started. And now I can do the back one. That should be much easier. Not much use in video in this part because you can't see it. I gotta crawl under it to get this last one in. The back one went in pretty easy. I had to do a little prying with a screwdriver. I had to move about 1/4 of an inch, but that's pretty good guesswork. Now I'm going to do my next guess, impress everybody. I'm going to let this thing down and I'm going to try to guess where 3 degrees is on this motor. That's on the front ones now. I go down here to my rear jack, and I think that's about it right there. Now we'll see how accurate I was. There it is wiggling around. It looks like I'm about 2.5 or 3 degrees. Perfect guess. Damn, I'm good. Well, there it is. Basically exactly where it needs to go. All I gotta do now is I'm gonna crawl under it. I ordered a cross member off of eBay, off of something or other, or a mount, so I'm gonna fabricate my own cross member. And went over here to this side, and well, with the weight on it, this wheel's still not even denting that spring. I think a lot of that's because I got the weight of the motor on the jack. Probably 60% of it. So I'm going to chain up the back just so I can get all the weight onto the car for now. Well, I'm going to try something here that not too smart, in all likelihood extremely dangerous, but I'm going to try to put the spring and torsion bar down on the, put the spring on the ground. See if this is gonna, damn jack doesn't want to roll right. Well, that don't look too good. The spring is kind of twisted. Alright, got this set up, pounded straight. We're going to check the car. Yeah, I got quite a bit of movement here. Easy enough with one hand. Same thing here. So this worked out pretty good. We're looking at the my little coil spring compressor came, and I was able to scrunch this up and get it into my thing here. Now I'm going to let it down, or actually release the tension on the spring. Don't mind telling you, I was very nervous in here for quite a while. I know there's a tremendous amount of pressure, and that's the last thing I wanted to do was have one of these cheap Chinese things break, take off a finger or a foot or an eye or something. But it all looks pretty good. It's going into the socket where it should. So I'm very relieved. I'll go ahead and finish this up. Well, there it is in. My little $15 Chinese junk worked good. It's all in, and I got it lined up. This is supposed to have some kind of a stop on it. I'm not sure what happened on the other side. It did have a stop right here. Don't have one on this, but if it's important, I'll just weld a little plate on there to keep that spring from rotating. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and stick me a hub and a bearing on here and a tire and see what I got. Well, here's the car down on the wheels. It's pretty good on both sides. Set about 1 degree, 2 degrees down on the whole car, which is not exactly what I hoped for. If anything, it might be maybe setting up a little bit, but I've got you see a pretty serious camber change there. on this one. And it's the same thing here. We've got a lot of camber change. So, and I'm up pretty high. My casters, or my toe end's way out. You see this one's pointing straight forward, and this one's probably pointing 15-20 degrees off to the left. So that's because of the change in the putting that V8 spindle in there. And of course I don't have any inner wheel bearings in either one of these tires, so but anyway, it's down on the spring and looks pretty good. It looks like it'd be my best bet to cut one coil out of those springs. I'll have some weight. You know, I still got the fenders and a lot of other stuff to go on here, but I wouldn't say there's more than 150 pounds of stuff. Maybe 200. It's not gonna, yeah, probably my weight. I'm 160, so it would lower the car an inch with all the rest of the stuff on it, and that's really not what I want. It's setting up real high and got the gasser look, and I want to get this thing down in the front a couple inches. So what I'll do is, first of all, is change this toe end with the tie rod ends, center steering wheel, steering box, and see if these tie rod ends will adjust out to where they should, and go from there. I got the steering wheel roughly centered, and it looks like I'm out 20 degrees here, and probably about 20 degrees on this one as well. I'll make a quick I'll just start turning on stuff. I got to get those tie rods off first to kind of set the wheels straight, and then guess at it from there. I took the tie rods off. Both wheels are pretty straight now. Looks like I still got quite a bit of camber in here. This one's really bad. I figured it would because I took all the spacers out. I'll have to try to fix that. But that's with the weight of the car on it. And it looks like it's way too high. If it lowers it down by cutting the spring, see, that'll probably bring my caster more into line. I mean my camber. In fact, that's not bad right there. And this one's not bad either. So more weight on it. And I've also got something going on with the shock here. It's sort of pried over to the side. You can see when I put weight on it, that shock is actually moving. Maybe the pressure of that shock in here is doing something. I really don't know. I wouldn't think you'd have pressure on a shock other than straight up and down. But obviously something's fishy in here. I'm just sitting here thinking maybe that this spring perch should be rotated. No, I don't think so. But something's wrong, more than just a toe in. I guess I could sort of measure up how much weight I got. Just throw some more weight on the motor. That's what I'm going to do, is just put a bunch of weight on that motor and see if I can approximate what the fenders and stuff are going to weigh, and the hood. Now there's an old cast iron Hemi manifold and a air compressor. Yeah, I probably got about 80 pounds in there. And strangely enough, it has changed the camera of this car. Right now it's showing about 2 degrees negative. This other side, one-handed mechanic. Well, this one's showing about 2 degrees positive, which is this, I would assume, is a good alignment on this wheel. Of course, this one wasn't the one that was hit, and the car itself is sitting about 1.5 degrees downhill in the front. So actually, maybe this is not too bad. Maybe I ought to just stick a fender on it to see the general stance of the car. Hard to tell with the fender off. Well, there's the fender, kind of in place. May not look too bad. This is a 15-inch tire over here. Looks pretty big. Of course, this is a 14-inch tire with, or a wheel with a bigger tire on it. I got them both the same height, but it looks like this 15-inch tire just kind of looks sort of big in there, and don't got a lot of room here. Well, I'm gonna have a fender on this side, be the same. But it looks like probably what I need is 14-inch tires. And I think this is a, what size is this tire? I don't have my glasses. What that is. Looks like it might be a 60 series. So probably a 40 would lower this 40% of the rim height, which would be a 14-inch. Half would be 7 inches, 50%. So say half of that, 3 inches. It'd probably lower it 2 inches, which is that's probably about 2 inches there. I don't know. I really won't be able to tell too much until I get everything on it. So anyway, I'll go back to getting this tie rod end lined up. Worry about the stance later if I have to. I don't like the way it runs and looks. I can always just pull the wheel off and cut a spring later, but for right now it's too much trouble to mess with when I don't even have the right weight on it. Well, it looks like my tie rod end's about 2 inches off on this side, and whoa, of course my wheels are probably not straight. Let me straighten that center wheel, or the steering wheel now. Alright, I had 5 turns lock on the wheel. I set it at 2.5. Yeah, looks like this one here is maybe half an inch too long. Back to this side. Now, boy, it's about, you know, maybe a half an inch too short. So somehow that don't make sense. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fool around with it and just go from this eyeball here right now and see what I can do about putting this thing in. Alright, I got this one pretty straight with the steering box centered. I got a little bit of toe in. Looks like I'm quite a bit wider in the front than I am in the back, so I'm going to have to change these different offset wheel. And boy, that one looks like it's almost straight on. We'll put it together and see what I got. Alright, I got that one on. Looks like I got a little toe in here. This one here is maybe toed out just a little bit at this point. And the wheel's straight, so I'm going to toe this one in just a hair. Alright, well, this one's toed in a little bit. Camera's way out on this one. And this one looks like it's toed in a little too. I probably got a little too much toe in. But this is just really rough alignment. One thing I don't like is those, with all the weight on the car, those tie rod ends should be level. Can't really see what's going on with this camera here, but they're pointed down quite a bit. Like about 30 degrees. Now they will change when I put some weight on it, but I really can't put it on there with one hand. So I think if I was to cut one coil out of those springs, I'd be right where I need to be. Yeah, this one's down about 30 degrees too. Somebody might have changed these springs before. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. Anyway, now we got an alignment. Let's see what it looks like bouncing on it. So I think I'm fine. Good enough for now. But I do think I need to cut an inch out of each one of these springs, or one coil. I probably lower it about 1.5 inches. It'll drop the front end. At this point though, I'm not going to really mess with that because one last thing I'm going to do is put in those shock towers. See if that changes it any. Now there's the shocks in. Shock towers in. I turned out I was a little wrong about this piece down in here. I just put a little pressure on it and it just leveled right up. So I thought before that there's going to be a lot of force sideways on that shock, but that really wasn't the case. They leveled up pretty good. Let's see what happens with the bounce. Probably bounce a little more. Mine was not changing much. Shocks did slow it down. Those are no good and worn out. But anyway, I've got the boy, even the camber looks good on this one. Camera looks good on this one. Their towing's pretty straight. Boy, I accidentally did a pretty good job there.